Alright guys, we're back. We got Vynnada here. She's gonna be running Bloodrayne. It's gonna be an 80% easy mode run. I'm gonna hand it over to her.
Thank you very much. So my name is Vynnada, and welcome to Bloodrayne. It will be easy any percent, and I'm gonna go through it with you so that we can kind of get, let's get the show on the road. So I'm gonna start in 3, 2, oh, lovely, off to a great start, my bad. So 3, 2, 1, go. So, brilliantly. Off to a little rocky start, it's fine. Never mind. Anyway, we're just going to be starting off. We're going to say, go over here. The little skips will be starting them very soon. But one thing you want to know is jump, down slash, and drill. That's what they're nicknamed. We're going to be using that a lot. Also, precursor to this run, just so that if you're interested in it whatsoever, which I highly recommend that you do go for it, it is a very, very fun run. When you just buy the PC version of it, and when you get that terminal cut, which is going to be the default, you want to have a little gander for Legacy. Legacy is the version which I'm running. You can tell by the water, it looks like crap. And also because you can set that to unlimited frame rate, and the frame rate, once it's set to unlimited, the game breaks. It's basically a complete and utter assured way of bricking your game in all the best ways. So we're going to do this, a few little things in behind here, so that we can start going ahead and skipping about 4 levels. This is the first way of getting out of bounds, and then we go and skip all those levels and go here. This is the other level, which is shortly before we go over to Argentina, because we're currently in Louisiana. There's a really weird plague happening, there's all these weird spider creatures, and that one over there has just eaten our mentor. We do not really see our mentor whatsoever, her name is Mince, and we are called Rain. And we are basically employed by this little organization called the Brimstone Society, and thankfully he did not get stuck again. This guy, famous for getting stuck in the tree, backward slash to his leg is the best way of getting him unstuck, but also you can do this, just stand on like a corner of the house and then just do that to try and get your frame rate going properly, which is pretty cool. And in general, you also want to be kind of aware of where the spider is in this level, because it's an escort mission. Unfortunately, it is one of those missions that you cannot go ahead and skip through. But to kind of go a little more on the lore, Rain is trying to find her father. It's in the intro to the game. And the Brimstone Society kind of is like, you'd be an asset to our little party, and we might even be able to help you then if you do agree to say yes to our invitation, and that's kind of the gist of the story. our mentor is also a Dampier. They are half vampire as well as half human. And again, you have an array of different abilities. This is one of them. This is to check where your objective is. And for the time that this game came out, it was actually pretty novel. It's about 2002, 2003. So one of those early games, full of schlocky goodness. And this would be the last level then for Louisiana. So we skipped a whole bunch. We were meant to save a whole host of people. And then we just said, nah, you know what, this is absolutely fine. I feel like doing this instead. And obviously for the majority of this run, going through walls is one thing. It's absolutely fantastic. But there's another thing about this run. And I'll show you that in just a minute. So we're going to do that, go back over here, and then we're going to go into Rage. So, hi, do you want to attack, please? There we go, just go over... Well, they're not being very kind. Can you do that? Okay, you just want to get their leg down so that they fall down. And you want to go ahead and do this. So, what is also tied to frame rate in this game? Damage. So that is one of the wonderful, broken things about this game. You can go ahead and just destroy... You can annihilate people very, very quickly with this. And especially when done proper. That one is a little awful, I'll admit that. But we'll do better in the next one. So this one, immediately skip the scene. Because when you go over to this guy, attack, and he's instantly taken down. For whatever reason, the game just says he's being taken unaware. And you can get little instant kills due to that, and that was one of them. But again, you have to skip the cutscenes as soon as they're starting, because otherwise you're not going to be able to really do much. Because the whole idea on skipping the cutscenes, first and foremost, that you kind of... There's a really strange timer for things in the game. And if you start, like, trying to skip things a little too late, what happens? You basically essentially miss your chance to do that. I'm not really sure what makes that happen, but it is just what it happens. It is something that happens, unfortunately. Anyway, that didn't look like a corner so much at all. Trust me. Just trust me. It is. And you're gonna see that little pillar there is the only one really as you're walking that has kind of a shadow on it. It's a little darker. You're able to go across into the room and use it as a marker, just kind of to be able to go through into the next section, next level rather. So we see these guys more and more. They're called Daymites. And the people who were here, the very not so kind gentlemen in this whole area, they've not been digging at all for artifacts, and strange monsters, strange creatures have not at all escaped as a result of that, and they are not at all possessing people. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. This is one of the weird kind of little skips rather. You kind of gotta do a 180 sort of as you're passing through that corner. You're just trying to pass through the corner slightly, go up in a jump, and then just turn around so that you're able to get on top of the entire map. It's a great thing. I genuinely do love it. It's very fun to do, but you can kind of... You gotta do a half jump here and then same thing. Because if you wind up on top here, unfortunately you would have to start the level all over again. So there are little areas where you kind of gotta be careful with what you're doing, because otherwise it's not gonna be good for your run overall. But nevertheless, we're gonna go through here, and there's meant to be a guy getting attacked by Daymites and whatnot, but we've completely annihilated the possibility of getting that trigger just because we've been hopping through walls so much. So we're not gonna worry about it. And to be frank with you, the less men here and the less enemies in general, the better. And in that, this is meant to be commando, that he's meant to just shuffle around by using a, like, a little grenade, you know, the flashbang. Yeah, he's meant to use a flashbang every now and then, and unfortunately, for him, we're not going to abide by those rules. And just as unfortunate for the Countess, we're not going to be abiding by her rules either, which is getting annihilated because she can really destroy you as a player really, really quickly. And thankfully, all you gotta do really for this run is find triggers to the end of the game, or end of the game, end of levels, etc, etc. And once you kind of hit them, you're done. You're done with the level, you're done with the game as well, and I love that I did that. Anyway, you're just meant to hit that thing up at the top, and then we jump down, and then it's the end of the level, and everything is hunky-dory. There we go. Usually there is no water in this area. It's absolutely fine, don't worry about it. This is completely normal, it's just an average day for rain. I know it says that we need to feed, don't worry about that. And again, there's meant to be more people here as well. That guy's just kind of getting... He's just meant to be there, so he spawns in here. He's an essential guy. Luckily for these things, it's great to have your guns on hand, because getting that's the end of that's the trigger for the end of level, for example, and I'm pretty sure you'll be seeing that a lot. But nevertheless, I might actually feed if things get a little too feisty. But for now, we're kind of okay. Don't go too close to these barrels, by the way, especially these ones with the red label on it. Those are explosive. And obviously, we're vampire. 1, we don't like fire, but also 2, just in general, even people don't like explosions. So we're going to try and stay away as far away from them as possible. This is kind of the one and only level that we kind of use this trick with, which is going in and out of bounds, which is kind of the strangest thing about this level and in the game in general. We only really use it here. And you can stay in, or you can just kind of go out of doing that little slow-mo kind of ability that Rain has. It is absolutely fantastic, but so I do recommend using it as much as possible if you're ever feeling kind of unsure about your footing, or just kind of trying to get a gist for what to do. About here, you want to jump back in bounds, because it's just, if you do straight forward too much, you just simply fall out of the world entirely. There is an area where eventually you do have to go ahead, and in classic fashion in this, anyway. With that little area, if you keep running, you will eventually hit a little area again, where you will start falling, and in the game it is programmed that if you fall for long enough, Rain does actually die, thankfully, because otherwise you'd be falling for infinity, to infinity and beyond. Anyway, I'm gonna fall down here. There is a little skip, but it's not very marathon friendly, so I'm not using it, which is trying to go out of bounds to the point where you're just able to use your guns to shoot very specifically one little area. Those little things, like weird kind of plant creatures, which are the marker for the end of the level, you gotta shoot that. And it's pinpoint precision, so we're not using it. Now thankfully, all we gotta do is go up here, and just hop on over here, and we're almost at the end of this level as well. This whole game is very out of bounds heavy. I love it, it's really fun, and also, it's very easy to kind of get into. So again, remember when I said just trust me, it's a corner? This is also another one of those. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. It's fine. So we're going to go ahead up here. There is a reason why I did kill one guy who had that little rocket. As mentioned, there's a little marker, kind of just one little very specific little thing that you need to end the level with. And hey, it's right over here. Let's get rid of it. So you can use anything, bullets, you can use the radius of an explosion to hit that marker. Once it's hit, you will be teleported to the next level. And that's absolutely okay, because that can happen. You can also restart level from in here if you ever do get into trouble. I got into a little bit of trouble there, but we're fine. Everything is a-okay. So, Rain has all these little abilities that you see on the bottom right. In order to end this particular section, we gotta get a fourth one, and that is the almost useless ability of zooming in to things. And we do only use that about like once, and that's at the very end of the level because it's kind of sort of mandatory. Noise warning just in case. 3, 2, 1. For whatever reason, Terminal Reality or just whoever decided, you know what, it's ready to shit. They forgot about this one explosion, and it will blast your ears off if you're not careful. So if you're playing this game or you're just streaming it to an audience, make sure, yeah, no, just turn the volume down a little bit. And also, one other thing I neglected to mention, if you are trying to stream this game, and while using all these glitches, you want to use window capture in whatever you choose with OBS or whatever else you want to use, because otherwise the game won't work. You will not be able to get these glitches to function as intended. It's very, very strange. I don't know. It's something to do with the hook, I think, but otherwise you're good to go. And this will be the last kind of section of the entirety of the game. You get 3 areas. There's Louisiana, there's Argentina, which we were just in, and last but not least, this is Germany. So we got Beliar's Eye, which is the little ability. No, you are done, Rain. I declared that. It is the truth. There we go. There's your evidence for it. Anyway, Beliar's Eye, that lets you zoom in a whole bunch of times. Yeah, it's an occult little artifact. There's one of these guys that are in these little, you know, all these troops. You got all these enemies now. We gotta eliminate the targets, which is our whole job here, in all these 3 different locations. They're also trying to find the same kind of artifacts. We're just trying to learn more info about it. Essentially, they're trying to raise a demonic god, so that they can rule the world, etc. And then everything will be absolutely terrible. So we're not going to do it. So you want to jump down here. You want to make sure you don't drop down too much. You want to drop down only a floor, because if you drop down all the way, you'll have to just start the entirety of that level. That is the first time he's ever done that. I got a quick kill. Heck yeah. Oh, it's beautiful when you get this sort of stuff live, and things that you've never seen. Also, people will get stuck. Also, those are vampires, they're not werewolves, they just kind of look it. But yeah, things do get stuck generally in the air and whatnot, it's just due to the frame rate. So if you see things kind of floating in the air, don't worry about it, it's completely normal. At least in this realm. Anyway, here's the next section. So... I love the complete difference in the game and the vibe and everything here with this goddamn mech section. And there's just, as said, there will be people just kind of floating around. This game is very, very jank. I do love it. And he's dead, but kind of just, he's hanging out in heaven. So, one thing even in the prototype, because I was fiddling around with just files and stuff, because I like to do that sometimes. Even in prototype for this game, they didn't take out a little thing, which is when you're in this mech, there is the enemy, I suppose, in the center of all this place. Like, in the mech, I should say. In the very center, you'll be able to deal extra damage. I don't know why they didn't get rid of it, but I'm very glad that they didn't, because it means we can take down all the mechs a lot quicker than we really should be able to. And you get little grenades to kind of throw as well as part of your arsenal. It doesn't really do much, but every little helps. Am I right? So we gotta take down these 2. And one thing that the game never really states, see our little machine gun here in our hand? It does actually overheat. And this guy loves to walk in circles. So what we're gonna do is say, we're gonna ignore that little comment that you just made. We're also gonna ignore that one, and we're just gonna pretty much we're just gonna nuke him, quite frankly. Because quite frankly, I mean, he deserves it. And there we go, we also have to go and eliminate the officer. If you ever wind up here and you're not able to fit through, just go a little sideways. And usually you'll be able to fit through eventually. There we go. Sometimes it actually does just save you a little tiny bit of health, like nearly gonna say health, a little bit of time. Because, quite frankly, we're gonna need it. This game in general is really fun, it's really easy to set up for the most part. And hey, we get to see firsthand what you mean with all this health just melting away. He'll start begging for his life any second now, like that. We're gonna say, lol, we don't care. Bye. And there we go, there's another target down. So thankfully, now we're at this part entirely. We just kind of walk back all the way that we came from. We get a little cutscene there, we just skip it with escape, and we continue on our way. I know that this whole machine is starting to smoke, don't worry about it. If you're also going to be playing this game in hard mode, which is sort of the board standard, if you're at this health, you want to be really, really careful. On easy mode, you do not need to worry so much, because you're fine, but in hard mode, you will probably find it very difficult to get over here, which is where we gotta go for some really strange reason. And also, quick exit that little cutscene and do a slash with the designated button. You can customize them. I have them set up to what I feel is very, very comfortable. I play with keyboard and mouse rather than using controller. You can use that if you want, but I find it's more intuitive with keyboard.
Tell me, do I look fat
So we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. Usually we would have a whole boss fight here, and remember what I said? The corners, that's a corner. Just trust me on that, I promise you it's a corner. And then we just kind of have to go through here. It's a very quick thing. Make sure you don't land in that upstairs region, because you're gonna have to wanna come all the way back down. There See? You want to be careful with this guy as well, that you don't accidentally attack him. If you attack him, you cannot use your weapons, like your actual melee weapons. You can only shoot him, and if you don't have any weapons, like actual artillery, you're kind of screwed. And you'll have to start the level all over again. What is very nice is grabbing this over here. Absolutely cool. Absolutely fine. And we're gonna go ahead and just start leaving. One of the things about this game is you can kind of just scale walls. It's really fun, actually. But it doesn't make all that much sense, but again, we don't kind of question these things, we just kind of continue and have a little bit of fun. Also, this area was not programmed to have a proper exit, they just figured nobody would see it. And again, this whole level is built around destroying this wall. We simply bypass it, and I found a little skip here actually live when trying to do this from before. Just jump up, and that's the end of the level. Usually you're meant to jump over into the windmill. You don't have to do that, and I love that. It's very good. Anyway, this is one of those levels that you just cannot actually skip, unfortunately. You need Hedrox, which is his name. He's Hedrox the Infinite. You cannot kill him by any regular means. If you keep slashing at him, he will just make him more. He will just do that as his namesake. He will do it infinitely, like infinitely. Don't worry about it. Because at the base of this is a bunch of water. And we're gonna go back to our little rocket launcher. Because we need one more use for it. At least for this one. And everything's a minefield here, so don't worry about it. It's kind of explained. You want to aim for over there. Because you want to like blow a bunch of the people up. Just say F. Yep, we're going to take that one because that one is refilled. And good thing as well about these two, if you ever find that you're running out of like your ammo and stuff, and an enemy picks it back up and puts it back down, it will be magically refilled. It is wonderful. And don't try to think about it too much. People are magic in this game. All the NPCs, pure magic. And when we are after going out of that second little cutscene, second light over here, 3/4 of the way, jump. Because this bridge just decides to break itself at random areas. Also, little thing that you kind of want to remember too, don't let enemies go out of bounds. That also includes letting him on the bridge, or don't let him on the bridge. Because as soon as you let him on that bridge and it decides to explode, you will be kind of soft-locked. You'll have to start the game, or the level all over again. And that can happen in the final boss, which is coming up very soon. But you want to go into rage mode here, and just kind of circle around, because all that slow-mo is very healthy for us. Nice, that was actually a quick kill. We are getting very lucky in this run, so I wonder how unlucky we might get with the final boss. Hopefully not, but it can happen. Anyway, you're usually meant to break down that door that just kind of fell down. We don't need to. We just kind of say, nah, nothing like it today. And then you just want to get your rage all kind of built back up, and now we're ready for the final boss. There's two individuals here. One's a giant demon, Spalier. He wants his body parts back. We both have stuff that he wants, and we're just gonna throw a bunch of stuff down. So I'm gonna go ahead, and while he gets blown up, I'm gonna go over here, because there is, thankfully, a little grenade launcher. So this is when we use the eye. This is the only reason we use the eye, so that we can actually hit them properly, and kind of more on par with where they're gonna go. You kind of have to aim sometimes for where they're going to, enemies are gonna walk. And what better way to do that than with a little zoom in. Also, this is very jank. Don't be surprised if you're gonna feel like it's jank. And time is gonna come up pretty soon. As soon as this guy is falling to the ground, it's time. And time. That's it. That is the entirety of the run. So, thank you very much for watching. I'm not really sure what the time on that was, but hopefully it was low enough. I'm gonna kind of just quickly say big shoutouts to the Bloodrayne speedrun community. Big shoutouts to Indie Horror Speedruns as well for letting me do this. I really appreciate it. And shoutouts to anyone tuning in at the moment to watch this run, and hopefully you will consider it yourselves. I do runs like this as well over on my channel, Vynnada, here on Twitch, and I kind of upload stuff sometimes on YouTube as well, one of them being on the topic of Bloodrayne if you want to check it out. But yeah, with that being said, I will pass it back on to your wonderful host, and thank you again.
Awesome, that was another great run. We're going to be seeing a little bit longer one. Nerd Square is going to come on with a score, so that'll be right after the transition.
answer this. Why do you hate the darkness? Then allow me another question. You accept darkness, yet choose to live in